It took me 10 years to speak English fluently. For a long time, I couldn't even tell the difference between word and worlds. Even though I've never felt embarrassed about my accent, and I don't believe you have to change yours, I naturally improved my pronunciation by doing a few things. If you struggle with speaking English clearly, I hope these tips will show you it is possible to change how you speak and feel more confident doing it. Before you try to improve your pronunciation, take a moment to figure out what exactly needs improving. In my case, I realize I'm not the most articulate person. I don't open my mouth much when I talk, and I tend to put in minimal effort, but I only noticed this after recording myself. The other birds left for Egypt. Another thing I discovered is that I speak more slowly than I thought and wouldn't have known without filming my videos. If you're not sure where your weaknesses are, ask your tutor, teacher, friends, or even family. They might notice something you haven't. Recording yourself speaking is one of the best ways to spot pronunciation issues, and it also gives you a great way to track your progress over time. We often hear that mimicking native speakers is the best way to improve, but just repeating words doesn't always fix your pronunciation. That's how I discovered the pen trick. Here's how it works. Place a pen horizontally between your teeth and try speaking as clearly as you can. It may sound strange, but it forces you to exaggerate your mouth movements and focus on where each sound comes from. When you go back to speaking normally, you'll find your pronunciation clear and people will understand you more easily. I use this trick especially for difficult words. I say them one at a time, slowly and carefully. Once you've activated those muscles with the pen trick, the next step is to improve your speaking skills by practicing similar sounding words. I prefer making a list of similar words and focus on differentiating between them. Creating lists help you identify problem words. For example, swir, swirl, word, world. When you group them together, it reminds yourself and helps you to avoid making the same mistakes. It's like tongue twisters. When you practice more, you're more likely to create muscle memory that helps with pronunciation. Raise, rise. One of the biggest changes in my pronunciation came from learning how to link words, something that native speakers do naturally. This happens when a word ends with a consonant sound and the next begins with a vowel sound. For example, I like it sound more like I like it. I broke it sounds more like I broke it. And when we use the ing form of a word, we can link it with the vowel sound of the following word. For example, I am going out. I am drinking it. Here is a great website that explains these rules in details. It provides great resources to educate the audience on the sounds of English. They're very informational, but remember, you only learn by doing. Each video comes with free worksheets so you can practice on your own.
Well, at least someone is happy in this town.
If you find it hard to understand native speakers or want to sound more like them, dictation exercises are extremely effective. I use a website called The Fable Cottage that offers slow English stories in both British and American accents. There are two ways I like to practice. First, I listen to the story while reading along. Once I'm familiar with it, I pause after each sentence and repeat it out loud. A little swallow flies over the city.
He is all alone.
The goal isn't to speak quickly, but to mimic the speaker as accurately as possible. This technique is called shadowing, and it helps you focus on rhythm, intonation, and pronunciation. Children's stories are great for this because they are spoken slowly and clearly. Try listening to the story without reading the text, and write down everything you hear. You might be surprised by how many words you think you know, but don't actually recognize when spoken out loud.
Won't, replied the swallow.
It's totally okay if you can't catch every single word. Just focus on capturing full sentences as best as you can. Later, when you review your notes, you can go back and fill in the gaps. If you can't write it down, it's likely that you don't fully know how it's pronounced. And that's a good clue about what to review. This exercise strengthens both your listening comprehension and pronunciation. Once you feel more confident with basic dictation, try this. Instead of writing down the exact words you hear, summarize what was said in your own words. This pushes you to focus on both meaning and sound, which is a powerful way to improve your fluency and listening accuracy. Improving your English pronunciation isn't about eliminating your accent, it's about speaking clearly and confidently, and that takes time and lots of practices. By sharing my experience, I hope you learn from my mistakes and become better in another language.